one of these, here's why I want to encourage you to consider switching to one of these. Hi, I'm Daryl Burling from Master New Testament Greek. Master New Testament Greek is all about the tools, the habits, and the system to help you master the Greek of the New Testament. And if you want to read the Greek New Testament fluently, I encourage you to subscribe to this channel and hit the notify bell so that you're notified when new videos are posted. The first reason to consider a paper Bible over an electronic Bible is simply distractions. You know, this thing has all sorts of apps installed on it, and you can do all sorts of things with it. And this is one of the strengths of the phone, is that, you know, you can install all these social media apps and things for keeping in touch with people, and, you know, investment apps or whatever it is that you're using. There's all these different things, and the idea of these is that they provide you with extra functionality where you're normally going to be working anyway. Now, the problem with that, of course, is that when you come to read your Bible, is that you want to avoid those kind of distractions because they're going to take away from your concentration. And even just the Bible software itself can be a distraction. One of my pet peeves is Bible software that pops up and says, "Hey, would you like to review this software now?" It's like, actually, no, I'm trying to read the Bible. Could you get out of the way so I can focus on that one task? So this is one of the things about, it's not just reading the Greek New Testament, this is reading any Bible. Having an electronic Bible is great for convenience and for, you know, particularly for travel and things like that, but it just doesn't give you the same depth of engagement, and it's going to distract you as well from, you know, just with all the other apps that are on there. And that's not to say that you can't avoid that to some extent. You know, you've still got the ability to turn off notifications. I encourage you to do that. I do that. But even so, even with those distractions closed, it's very easy just to say, well, I wonder what the weather's going to be like today. Or I wonder what's going on in the world today, and check some news or something. Or what your favorite sports team is doing. All these little distractions come to you when you have an electronic device in your hand, but they're not so likely to come to you if you're using a paper Bible. So distractions are one good reason to avoid using an electronic Bible and to use a paper Bible instead. Second reason to consider using a paper Bible is because it's going to make your Greek better. In fact, let me rephrase that. It's going to make you better at Greek. Let me explain why that is. When you're using an electronic device and you get to a word that you're not sure about, you're tempted to double tap on that word, or if you're using a desktop, double click on the word or whatever it is to try and work out what the word's from, or perhaps what it means, or even how it's passed. Now, the thing is, if you're reading the Greek at all at this stage, then the chances are that the information you need to be able to read that word are tucked away already in your mind. Now, obviously, with vocabulary, if you've never learnt a word or a word in that group, that, you know, root group, then you're not going to be able to work that out. You're going to have to look that up. However, if you've already learnt the word, or if you've already seen this text before, often you can work it out because you already know enough. You can work out the lexical form of the word. You can look at the root of the word. Maybe if it's a compound word, put the root and the word that's prefixed to it together and try and work out what that meaning might be. Or if you're looking at the parsing, there's a very good chance you know the principles of parsing already. And so you're going to be better off trying to work out that word than if you were just to double tap on that word and figure it out by looking it up in the text. And so what happens is, over time, the more you do this, the more natural it becomes, the less you have to stop and try and work that out. So it's actually going to improve your Greek to use a paper Bible and spend just a moment or two trying to work out a word you're not sure of rather than looking it up. And having a paper Bible removes the temptation of looking it up. Now, you can still have an electronic Bible on hand to look words up after you've tried to figure it out if you're still not sure. But if you've got a paper Bible, it gives you the opportunity and removes the temptation just to double tap and to try and work out what that word is. So another great reason is to try and work your brain a little harder to try and recall the principles you've learned so that they become more readily usable and easier for you to follow. And that means your Greek is just simply going to get better because you're using a paper Bible. A third reason to consider using a paper Bible is simply that it's going to give you a deeper engagement with the text. Research has shown that the way we engage with paper Bibles is different to the way we engage with electronic materials. And so when we look at a physical Bible, it's engaging more of our senses. It's engaging not only our visual appearance, which is what we're going to get on a mobile device, but it's also engaging our tactile senses. It's engaging our fingers. There's substance to it. There's dimensionality to it. We can hear it. We can feel it. We can turn the pages, which gives delineates sections of the book. And so our brain actually works differently when we engage a paper Bible than if we engage a electronic Bible. And the benefit of this is that with more senses that we engage in our reading and in our learning generally, the more we're going to learn something, more completely we're going to learn it. And this means that we're going to be more engaged. There's a deeper and richer engagement with the text when we use something in paper, something tangible and touchable like this. And so that's another reason to consider using a paper Bible rather than using your electronic Bible or your mobile device. A fourth reason to use a paper Bible is this. You want this to become more valuable to you. Here's how we make this more valuable. Make it more valuable by making this something we engage with more richly. That means not only do we have it as a physical Bible, it's going to engage us more richly anyway, but we're going to highlight it, we're going to take cross-references, and we're going to make notes in it. We're going to underline things that stood out and make notes in the margin about why that stood out. This means that this then becomes something that if you go to, say, a Bible study, or if you're teaching somewhere and you've got this with you, you've got notes and markup related to any particular passage that you've already studied. They're going to jog your memory and prompt your thinking on a particular passage. You're going to remember the lesson you learned when you were there more easily and be able to relate that and describe it. And that makes this more valuable. Let me add to that one other thing. When we look at a mobile device like this, what we're actually getting from this device is the functionality. The object itself is not that valuable. And to demonstrate that, what I mean is that we will typically switch out our phone every few years. Maybe some of you are, maybe you're every year, sometimes every 3 years, maybe it's less often, I don't know. But we switch these out, and that's the point, that we change the device out. The device itself does not have any intrinsic value. It's actually what works on the device that has the value for us. But here's the thing, if we're marking up our Bibles ourselves, this becomes an object of actual value to us. It means that we're going to then take this object of value with us more places and engage with it more often, simply because we're adding to this object, physical object, a degree of value every time we touch it, every time we mark it up, every time we engage with it. And that makes this more valuable, more useful, and as a result, we will be more richly in the text than if we were just working and engaging with an electronic Bible. So I want to encourage you, for these 4 reasons, that you want to take up a physical New Testament and read the Greek in the New Testament in a physical Bible rather than an electronic device. Remember those 4 reasons? First of all, to avoid distractions. Secondly, you're going to work your brain harder. Thirdly, it's going to lead to a deeper engagement with the text. Fourthly, you're imbuing it or giving to it more value, which is going to allow you to engage with it and use it more regularly. So those are the 4 main reasons behind that. But let me ask you, what do you think? Do you prefer a physical Bible for reading and for your Greek New Testament, or do you prefer an electronic Greek New Testament? Let me know in the comments below and tell me why do you prefer a physical or electronic Greek New Testament? I'd love to hear from you as well. So with that, I want to encourage you to head to masterntgreek.com/roadmap and download your roadmap to mastery. And if this has been useful at all, go ahead, hit the subscribe button and then hit the notify bell to be notified when new videos are released. I'm Daryl Burling from Master New Testament Greek. I look forward to seeing you in the next video. See you then.